17:38. I'm like, hey, what's up, hello?
Hey guys, this is going to be a DIY hand sculpture tutorial. Here are the materials that you will need. This is optional, you could use gloves if you don't want to use your hand. You will definitely need plaster. I got mine at Michael's. I'll leave a link in the description below. But you can find it at any arts and crafts store. You will also need petroleum jelly or Vaseline, and I got this at the dollar store, along with the gloves. So far cheap products. A cup of water. Make sure that your water is warm and not too cold and not too hot. And last but not least, you will also need a pair of scissors. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm going to start by taking my plaster out of my Ziploc bag, and I put it in a Ziploc bag because this material is very, very messy. As you can see, I got some on my fingers. It leaves a lot of powder all over the place, so you're definitely probably gonna need something underneath. So what I'm doing is just going to cut strips, and you want to cut a lot of strips in different sizes. You don't want them all to be the same size because we're going to be layering these pieces on our hand and smoothing them out. So I'm going to speed this up because it is a long process. We're going to need a lot of strips. Okay, so now that your strips are cut out, they should look like this. And it does leave a powdery mess behind, as you can tell. I'm going to take my water and I'm going to show you how you should dip your strips in the water. So this is just going to be an example. So I'm going to gently dip my strip in the water. I'm going to smooth my piece out like this every single time. And you want the pieces to be flat. Like this. So that was just an example. Now we're going to take our petroleum jelly or Vaseline and what you're going to do with the Vaseline is you're going to take some of it and start applying it all around your hand. So you want your hands to be nice and smooth. And what the Vaseline is going to do, it's going to protect our skin from the plaster. because once plaster is dry, it feels like it's just like a really hard material, but it can also get really weak. So apply front and back, and also a little bit on your wrist. That way the cast can slide out. So nice and gently applying the base all over, like this. Make sure you get it all over your hand, because like I said, it could really hurt if you don't put the Vaseline on. Okay, so now that I have the petroleum jelly applied to my hand, I'm definitely going to start taking some strips and applying them over my hand. So dip your strip in the water, and start putting pieces on your hand. Remember to smooth the pieces out, otherwise this won't work out. Your cast will most likely fall apart. So it should look like this when you're done. So this is what your hand sculpture should look like once it's completed. It turned out really nice. And as you can see, it's pretty smooth. It's also very solid. And as I observe the hand, I don't see any holes. So these are all great signs. That means that your sculpture will most likely not fall apart, which is good. Look how cool the inside looks. I really like it. So before you removed your hand sculpture, you had to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your hand for 2 to 3 minutes, and then slide your hand sculpture out. But you had to make sure that your hand sculpture was dry. So I really liked how this turned out. And now for the fun part. Let's decorate it! So I'm going to be painting it. I can't wait to do that. There are many possibilities. And then there's also the use of many other materials to decorate it. I have a lot of paints. Woo! Raining paints! I have watercolor paints and I have acrylic paints. I've never tried painting on plaster with watercolor paints, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I most likely believe that it won't work, because if you add water to plaster, it'll weaken it. But I'm definitely going to be painting this with acrylic paint. So the paints I'm going to be using are from Artist Loft, and you can find this at Michael's. I know I got it at Michael's. And also the watercolor paints that I have here are Pinelli watercolor paints, which you can also find at Michael's or any other arts and crafts store. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, rate, comment, subscribe for future videos. I really liked showing you how to make this, and yeah. So if you happen to make one on your own, please hashtag it to Love and Create Art on Instagram. I'd really love to see it. And yeah, bye guys.